Hey guys, it's Chad in Washington. I wanted to follow up on this Subaru conversion. I know several people are asking. I made promises of videos, so I wanted to follow up on the Subaru conversion. I've had the van back on the road for a couple weeks now. Got all the bugs worked out of the motor and the conversion and all that good stuff. So everything's good with the van now. I haven't had any issues for probably a couple weeks now. So that's been really good. I'm going to show you some video clips that I filmed while I was doing the initial startup of the motor once we had the harness in. When I first got the harness back, I just put the harness kind of up on the engine lid right there in front. It wasn't the final install. I put it up there just so we could get it started and see the thing run. So once I got the van up and running, then after that I did the final install on the ECU and the engine harness, and I show you some video clips of that. Everything went good, and so here are the video clips. Alright guys, well, got the wiring harness today in the mail. Got it all hooked up, well, halfway hooked up. I've just got it sitting up here for a preliminary start. Just to make sure everything's good. I mean, this motor's never been ran before since the rebuild, so kind of don't know what to expect. So just kind of wanted the wiring harness out here so we could keep an eye on everything. So we're going to go right now and try to put a key to it and see what we get. See if we get any turnover. Well, it turns over. Okay, well, we just took the key and turned it over once, and the starter's working, the motor's turning over, so I'm thinking it's time to start cranking on it. We'll see if this bad boy starts up. Here goes nothing. So we took a few minutes cranking it over. We weren't getting any spark or any fuel, so we found this relay setup right here. We had to add this. I had this in the box from the Subaru harness before I sent it off. So we plugged that in and had a little better results. So now we're going to go ahead and crank it over. I've got all my fluids all set up and ready to go. And the right break-in is, as soon as this thing starts, we have to bring it up to 2,000 RPMs, and we have to keep it at the 2,000 RPMs for 20 minutes to seat the bearings. That was recommended by the guy that built the motor, and also by some research that I did online. So a little bit nervous. We got to start this thing up and run it at 2,000 RPMs non-stop for 20 minutes, and we haven't even made sure everything's I like to just kind of idle it for a few minutes, but we got to go balls out at 2,000. So, okay, we're going to go give it a start. We're going to crank it up for the first time. There we go. She ran. She died for a second. I came back here to run the idle up, but it died on its own. But that's good news that it starts up. Sounds pretty good. So I'm going to keep going on it. Alright guys, well the van is now running. It's idling on its own power right here. Sounds really good. I'm a little bit concerned with the coolant situation though. I don't seem to be having any heat showing up at the front radiator, so I'm not exactly sure what might be happening there. But it's running, it's purring. You can hear it. So far so good. I'm supposed to be doing a 20-minute break-in at 2,000 RPMs, but I'm a little bit concerned with this coolant level before I go and do that. So doing the best we can right now. But here she runs. My issue there that I solved, there was an air bubble in the line and it wasn't getting flow. The water pump wasn't able to pull it back through all the way from the front of the radiator because of that air bubble. So once I got the air bubble out, then I had coolant flow back to the motor, and everything was good there. One of the hardest parts of doing the Subaru conversion is dealing with the wiring harness. I sent my wiring harness off to a fellow over in Ontario, Canada, by the name of Tom Shields, and he's really great at doing the swaps of the Subaru conversion. I'm sorry, the Subaru wiring harness over to work on the Vanagon wiring harness. So the hardest part I've had to deal with is routing the wiring harness up through the hole. You can see right there, that's where the harness comes through the firewall and into the cab, because the engine harness, or I'm sorry, the wiring harness sits in here under the back seat. You can see where we're dealing with right here in the cab here, right under the back seat. What I did, it wasn't suggested in the instructions, but one thing I found to be make this job a lot easier is to move this the seat back here. You can kind of see here I've got it pulled back, so I took off the cover over the heater and took out some of these bolts here along the floor here and the four corners there, and got that pulled out. And then there's two bolts in the back near the engine deck that hold the seat together. Then I was able to slide this forward, and that gave me plenty of access. Otherwise you've only got about this much room to try and get this whole harness through. Some instructions suggest to cut a hole in here. I didn't necessarily want to cut it, nor did I have the tools to actually make that happen. So I went ahead and pulled the whole seat mechanism in a Westphalia. I pulled that forward a couple inches, so definitely made the job a lot easier. Okay, so underneath the seat, after a little bit of organization, I got the seat back installed, and now it's time to place the Subaru ECU. You can see it here. This is actually the stock location for the Vanagon ECU, which I pulled out back when I first pulled out the Vanagon motor. So here's the Subaru. It's all threaded through here. You can see it right poking right here. That's where it comes through the firewall, and I use the Subaru rubber gasket. Like I mentioned before, Tom Shields was the one that did my wiring harness, did a very good job in setting it up to work for this application. Right here, these are all the diagnostic plugins if you ever have to plug a computer into it. The OBD2 plug-in, some other ones here I'm not exactly positive what they're for, but that's here. This is a simulator board. This was needed to add in for some issue. I don't know, Tom wired all that in for me and set. These are the relays and stuff that go to turning that on. This right here is actually a check engine light. Because the Vanagon didn't actually have a check engine light, there's a check engine light wired up right there. So if you're having any issues, that light will come on and tell you that you're having some issues there. You can still plug this thing into the computer, read the codes, and it'll tell you what's going on with the engine and stuff. Down here you can see where everything plugs into the bottom of the brain, the ECU, the engine control unit. So anyways, everything's mounted in here nice and safe. I still wanted to use that storage, so what I did is I modified the original Vanagon cover. The original ECU is bolted in these spots here, the Vanagon ECU, and it also has a fin across here just like this. It actually formed a full box, but what I did is I took a grinder and I sliced this off here, just this here. I took a grinder and then I had some snap lock trim that goes over the edge, so the sharp edge. And my plan is I want to set it in the original spot and screw it in here, and these wires here will tuck up underneath there. But that guards the wires and the relays and the ECU, and it looks like a stock install once those wires are tucked in underneath. So that's my plan. Working on that right now. I just got to screw it on. So there is the stock ECU cover mounted over the top of the wires, and if you look straight down, I mean, if you look like this, you can see the wires poking down here. So my main concern was just that everything was protected from up above. So now as I'm putting stuff down in this storage area, I've got this to protect it, and everything's kind of nice and stowed away there. So usually I just use this base here for dirty laundry and stuff when I'm out and about. So yeah, everything's good there. ECU should be nice and safe there. So there we go. Okay guys, fast forward 2 weeks. Here's the Subaru motor on the road, all the bugs worked out, running in the van again. Again, this is a 2000, it's a 2.5 liter motor. It's out of a 2.5 RS Subaru, which is was Subaru's rally sport kind of little hot rod car. Right around the time they came out with the WRX. So the 2.5 was its little hot rod motor, and it's 166 horsepower, and now it is installed in my van again. Here it is idling. I just did an initial startup. That was the first startup of the morning, so the motor's cold. You saw how nicely it starts up. You see how nicely it sits here and idles. This is a cold air intake that it's got in here. There's the mass airflow sensor. This particular wiring harness required the mass airflow sensor to be there. I've got kind of a rigged together job right now. I don't have the actual proper adapter to get that in there, but it's working right now for the time being. And the kit runs exceptionally well. Here I come down and here's some of the exhaust. Motor runs just awesome. The exhaust turned a nice golden color, blue color. That's from the stainless exhaust. You can see how it just fits in there nicely. From underneath, ground clearance is not bad at all. It's actually really great. You can see the exhaust tucked up in there. Muffler is sitting in right in there, right almost where the stock one is. So that's a good thing. And so yeah, there it is. And when we rev this thing up, sounds really awesome. It sounds like a 2.5 RS Subaru car, or like a WRX, or even an STI. They all got the same sound. And with that revs nice and quick. It's pretty wild. The power on it's just awesome. The acceleration that you got. There it is. I also wanted to talk about this cruise control mechanism I talked about in one of my other videos. You can see this bracket here. It's my homemade bracket here, and that holds the diaphragm in there, and actually that vacuum diaphragm pulls this cable that's around here and it hooks up to the throttle right in there. And I just want to let you guys know that ended up working out really well. It worked flawless the very first time I used it. It did the job, and it held my speed, and like I said, going up those hills, it holds the cruise right there at 70 all the way up the hills. So for anybody with a Westfalia, here's how I get to my engine compartment while I'm on the road, because while I'm on the road I usually have lots of stuff over the engine compartment. So what I do is I set the bed down, I fold it out just like in bed mode, and then right here, this is the bottom cushion that comes stock in the van again. That is my my memory foam mattress. It's folded in half inside that blanket. And basically I put the bed down, and then I pull that whole bottom mattress up on top, and everything comes with it up on top. And then that leaves full access to the engine compartment, which is right under that. So I'm going to take you outside and show you that here in just a second. So quick little pointer, that's how I access it while I'm on the road. That way I'm not having to haul all my stuff outside and in the weather if I'm on the road and need to get to my engine. Like I said, that's where I just take that bottom cushion and I slide it up onto the bed up front. That gets it out of the way, and everything right there, and everything's right there. It'll stay out of the rain. And then when I'm ready, I just pull that bottom cushion right there. I just pull that, and it'll slide back into place, and everything will be back to normal. So it's a good way without having to unload all your stuff if you got it stowed in this trunk area back here. All right, guys. So here I am. I've left the engine compartment off, and I'm going to take you for a little test drive. I've got the back hatch closed, and you can see everything's still, pulled up front here like that. But the engine compartment's off. That way you can hear the acceleration of the motor really well, and you can hear that throat and get an idea of how this thing runs under acceleration. I'm going to take you for a quick spin just around the block here, and the way I'm going to drive it first off is I'm going to shift this thing like a manual transmission. So I'm going to start out in position number 1 on the automatic transmission. So right now I'm rolling at like less than 10 miles an hour. I'm going to punch it here. That's 45. That's 50 there. So that was a good pull from first up to 50. So that gives you an idea how this thing runs. I'm just going to throw it in regular drive. You can hear how it shifts automatically now. That's 55 there. Don't want to be driving around like this too much through town, but there's a couple good pulls for you. I'll throw the engine compartment back on here, and you can hear how quiet it is inside the cab. Basically, when the engine compartment's on, all you hear is just the intake, the growl of the intake, so it's not too bad. And the automatic transmission seems to handle the power just fine. It shifts good, all that good stuff, so I'm pretty happy with the auto tranny and the Subaru conversion. So okay, I'll be back in a second. Evidently I've been running this whole time, so I'm back. Engine compartment's all covered up. You can see in the back we're back in couch mode. Take you for a drive now, and you can hear how this thing runs. Nice and quiet. Just kind of a back street here. Not too bad. That's the sound, that's drive mode right there, all ready to go. Got some good throw to it. It's fun to drive. Like I said, probably need a brake upgrade. This thing's got some good, serious acceleration. It'd be nice to have some good stopping power to back it up. Roll up that window there, it might be a little bit quieter. Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you about the sources that I used to complete my conversion from Vanagon over to Subaru. I did a lot of research online, did a lot of Google searching to figure out, the options of going with just a regular Westy motor versus one of the ones that are all hopped up and rebuilt Westy motor versus a Subaru motor. And everything really came together to point it in the direction of Subaru. So I chose to go that route. And then from there, I did some research on people who were doing kits. There's a lot of components that come together for converting a Westfalia or a Vanagon over to Subaru. I didn't necessarily have all the knowledge nor the time to spend to build my own kit, so I wanted to find somebody that had put the kit together already. And there's a couple sources. One is smallcar, smallcar.com. You can also find them on Google if you just type in small car. I think they're located in Tacoma. Another source that I found was Rocky Mountain Westy out of Colorado, and you can find them on Google as well. I like the kit that they put together. I heard good stuff about it, so I chose to go with Rocky Mountain Westy. I've also got some parts from Small Car, which were very well. I got an oil pan from them. And then for my wiring harness, which is another important part, I didn't want to try and attempt to convert the wiring harness from Subaru over to Westfalia or Vanagon. So I sent mine off to a fella named Tom Shields, which I talked about in the video clips from before. All these links, I'm going to put them in the information below. And these are great sources if you're thinking about doing a conversion. These are great sources to go to. Everybody's very helpful in doing this. Everybody supports this kind of conversion. So it's a good way to go. So hopefully this information helps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and take care.